Welcome to the Michele Roy Show.
Hello and welcome to another Michele Roy Show. I'm delighted to have a special guest today. We have Melissa Baumbick. She's the CEO of the Facial Pain Association, a rare disease patient advocacy organization that has been in existence for over 35 years. She is the leadership professional with over a decade of experience in nonprofit sector after spending the first 17 years on her career in corporate and small business marketing. With a deep commitment to mission-driven work, Melissa blends strategic vision with a strong foundation in a brand development and communication. Her dedications to serving communities affected by rare conditions has allowed her to combine her expertise and passion to build awareness and affect change. Melissa, you're so very welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Michele, for having me here. I'm just thrilled to be here. I'm really honored.
Oh, thank you very much. Melissa, where are you calling from right now?
I am in Atlanta, Georgia. We are expecting a snowstorm, so that's odd for us. But yes, so I'm in the South, but it's still very cold.
Okay, that's good. I'm so grateful to have you here. And I think my first question for you is if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and what is Facial Pain Association for those who have never heard about them.
Okay. Well, as you mentioned, I'm the CEO of the Facial Pain Association. I came into nonprofit work sort of as an accident, really. I began working with another rare disease organization that's structured very similarly to the way the Facial Pain Association is, and was doing social media and webinars for them. And being in touch with the patients and the people who were living with this condition that was rare, where they were looking for connection and really having a hard time finding it, was really inspiring for me and something that I felt like I had wanted to do my whole life and didn't realize it. So, as I had the opportunity to get more involved with that organization, I did. And then the opportunity presented itself to me to come to the Facial Pain Association, which we worked with because the kind of brain tumor that I was working with can cause trigeminal neuralgia. So I was familiar with the Facial Pain Association, but I came here and really learned that the community that lives with facial pain can be very devastated by the conditions that are like trigeminal neuralgia, but also other forms of neuropathic facial pain. So our organization is really here to serve that community. We offer educational resources, we offer support, opportunities for support, and we offer advocacy. We try to help people advocate for themselves, and we also advocate to try and affect change and policy to help people better deal with this condition. So in those three ways, our organization is really here to provide community and support for this group of people.
It's amazing. And I mean, uh, I've been so blessed to have found the Facial Pain Association back in 2019 and been a member since. And for me, it has been an invaluable resource for learning and developing and understanding my condition better, which is I'm so grateful for it. So being able to do the full circle now, being able to interview you and be able to give this opportunity for others is also really, really nice. I have a question with regards to who first started the organization. Can you take us back there?
Sure. So Claire Patterson is our founder, and she was first experienced her first attack of trigeminal neuralgia in the mid 70s, and really had no idea what it was, as many people still today often think it is. She thought it was a dental condition. She thought it was something having to do with her teeth. She was eventually diagnosed, correctly diagnosed, and she managed her pain with medication. As again, as is typically the case with many people who take medication, so that started to wane in its effectiveness. So she eventually started looking for other options, and as she did that, she found Dr. Peter Jannetta, who is really a pioneer in the field in that he developed a surgery called the microvascular decompression.
Mm.
And so she had that surgery and then was able to live out the rest of her life until today, still pain-free, which was amazing. She really was impacted by that pain, though, and really impacted by her experience of being lonely, of not being able to find the right diagnosis, of not being able to find resources, and of not being able to find anyone else who had experienced what she was experiencing. And she didn't want anyone else to go through that. And so, in speaking with Dr. Jannetta, he recommended that she start an organization. So, with a couple of other patients that he had connected her with, and a couple of other doctors, they started the Trigeminal Neuralgia Association, and developed some resources, developed that sense of community, couple support groups, and really tried to get that going. In about 13 years ago, we expanded and changed the name to the Facial Pain Association to include more types of neuropathic facial pain, because there are different types in addition to trigeminal neuralgia. And we've grown quite a bit. We don't have a huge staff. There's only 4 of us full time. But we call the organization sometimes a kitchen table organization, because it felt like that's how it started, really with a need and some people filling that need. So we really, as we interact with people who need help, either people who send us information requests online or who call our office, we really try to customize everything that we send them according to what they need, and really try and keep that one-on-one, very small group individualized approach.
Yeah, and I have to attest for that because I remember the first email that Regina sent. She was just so kind and so like was in such overwhelm at that time, but her email was so kind, was so on the exact thing and try this, this, and that, the different resources available. And again, I'm so grateful.
I'm so grateful we could help.
Yeah.
It's frustrating sometimes because we're not doctors, and so
Mm.
we take away the pain.
Yeah.
But we really try to listen, and many people with, as you know, with trigeminal neuralgia and other forms of facial pain just don't feel heard. They don't feel seen.
Mm.
They feel ignored and brushed off. And so we try to, I mean, that's what we can do, is we can listen and we can connect with other people who are living with it, and then with hopefully physicians and specialists who can help manage that pain or treat that pain.
Yeah, and that's so important because we do feel very lonely and
Mhm.
it's a difficult road. And like you said, most people don't understand it. And it's because, especially because it's rare, it makes it even harder for you to put like, okay, a label on it, or it takes so long for them to even get the diagnosis. So it can be really overwhelming and difficult.
I know. And it's not a visible condition. So it's very difficult because you look fine. Like,
Yeah.
look just
I
fine.
know. And I was like, sometimes you wish people could at least visually see it so that they can kind of have a little bit of understanding, because even trying to put into words what the pain is, the level of pain, it's really difficult. So
Yes.
when you find that person or that doctor who understands, or the neurosurgeon that said, I really get this, is one of the most cruciating pains in the scale of pain,
Mhm.
you're like, you see me.
Yes. I
It
can
can
imagine it's such a relief.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And it's a lot of trial and error as well. So that's why I
Mhm.
think it's so important, the work that you're doing. You're saying the 3 different things, right? The education, personal support, and advocacy. Can you break those down for us? What Facial Pain Association does on those 3 topics?
Absolutely. So we definitely offer resources, educational resources. We want people to be informed about what it is they're experiencing, why it's happening when we know that, because there's still a lot that's not known, and what they can do about it. So we offer webinars. We have a quarterly journal that we send out, a newsletter that we send out. We send out biweekly bulletins. Our website is an absolute um, treasure trove of resources, and anything that we offer can be found there. We um, really try to help people understand the different conditions. There's a lot of misdiagnosis, as you said. There's a lot of trial and error. So many people are misdiagnosed, and so we try to help them connect their symptoms to their diagnosis, and make sure that they're being treated for the right thing. So we want people to be educated. We offer um, resources that they can take to the emergency room if they have to, because doctors there may not understand it, or resources to help them identify qualified doctors and really understand whether or not these people have the experience needed to effectively treat them. So lots of educational resources, lots of support. We offer support groups. I think we have in the neighborhood of 40 support groups around the US, and then there's a couple of them that are international as well. And these are primarily geographically based. COVID changed things a little bit in 2020 when everything sort of shut down. Everything went virtual, as everyone knows. So it expanded our reach a little bit. The good thing that we could say came from that is that all of our support groups went virtual. At this time now, some of them are coming back in person, but really most of them remain virtual. It's nice to have that geographic base because people who attend the meetings can share resources. But if you live in, Arizona and the Northwest group is having a meeting, you're welcome to attend. So really it can be for anyone, and it has allowed us to reach people who couldn't necessarily travel to a support group, whether it was because of distance or their health or whatever. So it was not a blessing at the time, but it's been a blessing.
Yes,
And then we have topic-based support groups. So for people who have a tumor that causes their pain, or for people who have MS, these specific situations where there are groups of people that want to relate in that way. We have groups like that too. We also offer one-on-one support. And so our peer mentor program is volunteers, people who have different diagnoses, are in different points of their life, and have had different experiences. And they are willing to talk to people about their experiences to help them, again, feel seen, provide that community, and maybe offer some guidance as to what they've gone through. And we just finished our holiday helpline. So that's something that we've done every year for the past 4 years. And we've had volunteers staffing our phone lines after hours, after we would typically be there, so that people can call or chat if talking triggers their pain, during a time that really can seem so joyous and family oriented, but can be lonely for a lot of people and very difficult for them to get through. So we offer that too. We really try to provide a sense of community, even if it's not in person, so that people don't feel so alone.
Yeah. I think it's wonderful, this opportunity that people have to not feel alone, to know that they are cared for and that there's someone that understands them on the other side, be it by email, by phone, or by virtual, meetings that they have as well. I think it's fantastic. And you also work with a lot of different doctors, right? Part of the board is also the advisory board are doctors for the various hospitals.
Yes. So our board of directors, it's quite amazing, I think. Our board of directors is almost all people living with facial pain. There are a couple of exceptions where people are family members of people with facial pain, but they're all very close to it. They've all lived it, even if they don't have the pain themselves. They've all certainly been affected by it. And then our medical advisory board does consist of different types of specialists who work all over the country. We have a lot of neurosurgeons. We're trying to increase the number of neurologists, although we do have 2 neurologists on our medical advisory board, mental health specialists, orofacial pain specialists who generally are dentists with additional, or dental professionals with additional training to understand neuropathic pain. And because there's so much crossover there, that's a huge component. Who else do we have on our board, on our medical advisory board? I think, that those cover the major specialties for to treat trigeminal neuralgia, but we really utilize their expertise and their knowledge in any information that we put out. It's scary to go on the internet and to look up any condition, I think, but it can be really scary to look up trigeminal neuralgia or neuropathic facial pain, and what comes up is not always correct. It's not always accurate. So we really make an effort to make sure that anything that is associated with the Facial Pain Association is trustworthy, correct, up-to-date information that people can trust.
Yeah. And especially because they need to educate themselves on the condition. And it's very good to have this, that you have a board advisors that understand, that have been there, have been, like you're saying, have been felt it in a certain way. And then
Mhm.
also to have the doctors part of that perspective and say, hey, I'm on the field looking at it as right as well and getting the best for the patient. I know for myself, it was so helpful to understand trigeminal neuralgia, especially when I was first diagnosed and I went to the neurologist. He was like, "Well, you're more complex than, you're not a classical trigeminal neuralgia, so you're atypical, and usually you don't have bilaterally, and you have bilaterally, and there's all these other things going on." And so I was just like, "So what do I have?" Because first is trigeminal neuralgia, now it's I don't know, and so it's going through all these different doctors and to another one. So it was TAC, so it was trigeminal autonomous cephalalgia afterwards. And I just wanted to know what I had. So I studied so many different parts of it. But I remember watching one of the webinars that we had, and I think it was Professor Zimmerman.
Oh, yes.
He is amazing. And
Mhm.
he was talking about, he was actually showing the microvascular decompression and how they fix it, So for me, it was, I mean, I love those stuff. I love to understand. So I was able to go and see my neurosurgeon prepared. I knew what he was talking about. It made complete sense. And even what are the new things that are right now being used and not necessarily the Teflon anymore,
Right.
all of these things for me was just like, well, I can speak like someone that understands. And it felt so empowering because you can feel overwhelmed and you feel like you don't know anything. But when you are able to use the resources that you guys provide, it totally shifts the conversation. No?
I'm so glad to hear that. And I think you're right. I think, and then when you add the element of pain, because a
Mhm.
lot of times when you go to these doctor's appointments, you're in pain. And
Absolutely.
that really inhibits your ability to take in information, to process, So having that background knowledge to be able to go in and at least kind of have a foundation from which you can speak, I think is so important. And it really drives what we do. We've been working with physicians. We have a program called the Dentist Initiative where we are working to educate dentists to help them and support them so that they can spot trigeminal neuralgia when they have someone in their dentist's office,
Mm.
and then refer if that's the appropriate action, if they don't find dental disease. But that just wasn't a priority for anyone for so long. And how would they know? So we do that. We're, as you said, there's so many people that have either comorbid conditions or
Mm.
they have it's very difficult to identify because there's classical trigeminal neuralgia and there's atypical trigeminal neuralgia and there's the migraine component and there's the tax like you said. So there's all of these different elements, and neurologists are supposed to be knowledgeable on all of them. Well,
Mm.
that's really, really difficult. So, um, and the patients are not people who are just come into their office, get their medication and go, and they're better, and it's fine.
Mm.
That's not usually the case. So
No.
long-term patients and people who are in and out of their offices. So it's nice for us to be able to say, well, we are here to help you support your patients. As you're treating these people who are living with this pain, you handle the medication part. We're here to help them with the community part, help them be educated so that they know the right questions to ask and can feel like they understand what's happening to them to some degree. And we're not successful in all of that, but we're certainly trying to develop as many resources as we can um, to facilitate that.
Yeah, I think it's so empowering for us. And I think this is why, for me, it was so important to have you on the podcast because I want this to come out. And especially now with, Rare Disease Day now coming in February, it's something that sometimes gets uh, just doesn't get heard. It's rare. So it doesn't
Mhm.
seem to affect enough people for them to talk about. But yet the people that does affect, it's debilitating. It's a really long journey. And unless they feel the help and support of other people that understand, they can feel just alone, lost, and as doctors can't understand. So it's a fantastic job that you guys are doing.
Well, thank you. Thank you. we're blessed to be able to do it. We're happy to do it. I mean, all of us in our organization right now, I would say, all of our full-time people, none of us have trigeminal neuralgia.
Mm.
However, we do have people that we work very closely with, some of our part-time people that do. And I think everybody has been with the organization long enough to really understand the impact. Even if they can't feel it firsthand, they understand the impact that this condition has on people's lives, and whether that's the people who love the people with the pain or the people who are actually in pain. All of there's just different effects for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Can you talk to us a little bit about the registry?
Yes, so we launched the Facial Pain Registry in June of last year. This was an effort that has been talked about in the Facial Pain Association for over 20 years.
Wow.
And in fact, they launched a registry at one point, and they collected several pieces of lots of information, but they didn't have the capability to analyze it or get the information out effectively.
Mm.
So we were very, very careful in the way that we went about creating this registry, and we partnered with the National Organization for Rare Disorders. We put it on their I Am Rare platform. So that's an established registry platform used by many rare disorder organizations like ours that tend to be smaller, tend not to have registry necessarily expertise, but we can utilize the resources that this larger organization that NORD provides and the guidance that they provide so that we can create something that will be impactful in our community and useful to researchers. So it's a repository for information. It's an opportunity through surveys that we put out for people in the community to basically answer questions and submit data about their unique experience. And through that, we collect, we build a repository of data that then can be used by researchers who want to do work in this area,
Mm.
and then also researchers who might have clinical trials and need people to participate. We keep the information, the answers to the questions separate from from the names of the people who answer those questions. We protect that personal health information. However, if we need to, a very small number of people can access the qualifications that might be there to put somebody in the position to participate in a clinical trial, and
Mm.
we can let them know about it. And that's all we do. We let them know about it and say, this is out there. If you would like to participate in it, please feel free. That's the end of it. But we really try to protect all of that information and make sure that it's kept private. And through the resources and the foundation that NORD has set up on their platform, everything is very protected. Our
Mm.
goal is really to affect change and affect research and potentially, find different treatments. The primary treatment for trigeminal neuralgia came out in 1960, and there hasn't been a new one since.
Yeah.
So there's a need for additional treatment mechanisms. But we want to understand people's experiences. We want to understand the symptoms that they experience.
Mm.
Does their diagnosis match what their symptoms are? Did they undergo dental procedures before being correctly diagnosed? What is each unique experience so we can understand who it is that is dealing with this, and then understand what their experience has been, what's been effective, what hasn't. All of this information and data will become critical to researchers as they develop programs to try and affect change there.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant initiative because, like you said, we do have to get this information and be able to do something different than it's been, right? To change. And unless people get involved and give their little part, right? This is a platform really for you to be heard. It's your way of showing what you're going through in your own way so that they could study it. So I highly suggest that those that are listening right now or know someone that has any type of facial pain, not just trigeminal neuralgia, occipital neuralgia, or any of the other ones, please do fill out this form. It's really, really important. And yeah, I think it's brilliant. What's your goal for it?
We're very excited. Right now, we have three surveys that are active, and so we've just launched these first three, which focus on demographics and then also describing your pain. And it's a very top level, high level description. It's not really digging deep at this point. Right now, I'm reviewing a medication survey, and then we'll look at a quality of life survey. We'd like to have a survey on treatment mechanisms. We're looking into how COVID affected people with trigeminal neuralgia. So our goal is really to collect as much information as we can. We have a short-term goal to try to reach 1,000 participants by the end of June. We had a goal of reaching 500 participants by the end of December, and we met that.
Yay.
I believe we're at 556 as of today. And we really just want to build this data so that it becomes useful to researchers. Our mission statement says that we serve everyone with neuropathic facial pain, and we want this registry to represent everyone who has neuropathic facial pain. So, as many different types of people and different people that we can get to participate in the registry, it's really, really important.
That's really, really good. Yes, please. I would encourage you as well, so we can reach that goal and not only that, probably surpass that. I think it would be brilliant as an opportunity
Yes.
for us to be heard and also help ourselves get better diagnosis and better treatments in the future, which I think it's imperative.
I don't know that people know that there is research going on in this field.
Mm,
And so I think a lot of times people think there isn't, and because there's not, it's far and few between, but there is. And so if we can provide data that can support that and help that, I think it could really make a big difference. That's our goal.
that's for sure. That's for sure. And for any of the clinicians that might be listening to us today, how do you guys support them?
We have programming involved at the Facial Pain Association to try to help them become more visible to the patient community. We we work with them, um, and we want to be involved with them because, again, we're not physicians, so we can't help people with their pain. So having as many specialists and people who really understand neuropathic facial pain working with us and being able to provide them as resources to our patients,
Mhm.
that's really important. But we do, we have organizations who sponsor the FPA, and we have doctors who are listed on a Find a Doctor list. And they do pay to be a part of the organization. It's part of how we run our programming. So it helps support our nonprofit, which is great. But it's really so important to have those resources available to people around the country. And I wish we had it internationally. We don't as much there. It's really primarily in the US, but that's really the biggest opportunity for physicians there.
Okay, well, that's great. Thank you so much. And this month of February, you guys have some events coming up. Would you like to explain a little bit about that?
Absolutely, yes. So you mentioned it's Rare Disease Day at the end of the month. February, it's usually the last day of February, whether that's the 28th or 29th. This year, it's the 28th. That's always an important awareness effort for us. Anytime that we have the opportunity to tie in with other rare disease organizations or awareness initiatives to be able to let people know what facial pain is, what trigeminal neuralgia is. It's something that we want to participate in. So that's a big effort for us. You'll see a lot on social media. If you share it or put that out there on your own social media, that's a huge help. We are also having our annual virtual conference. We had an in-person conference last year in June, and we'll do an in-person conference every other year. But on those off years, we offer a virtual conference, which is really nice because it reaches more people. We have the ability to reach a larger number of people. We'll have presentations from medical professionals on Saturday that will all offer opportunities for patient Q&A. And then we're going to have some really topic-based small group opportunities on Sunday. I'm sorry, I didn't say the date. February 28th is when it starts. And then on Sunday, March 1st, we will offer small group topic-based breakout sessions that will be hosted by a medical professional or a professional in a specific field, and talk about a certain topic. People will have the opportunity to sign up for those. I envision those might be groups of 25 or 30. They'll be about 2 hours long, and after the doctor or host is done presenting, then I expect that there'll be an hour or so for discussion. And in that smaller group, I really think there might be the opportunity for people to absolutely get their questions in, and it's a great learning opportunity. So Saturday's structured a little bit more like a typical conference would be, with more formal talks, but I really think Sunday will be more interactive. So February 28th to March 1st. Registration actually opens this Sunday on February 1st. And registration is $35, but we do offer complimentary registrations for anybody who needs that, because we really just want to get this information out to people. And the last thing is always the registry. So we definitely want people to participate in that too. And there's no time frame associated with that, but important to participate.
For sure. I'll be adding all of that in the link in the show notes as well, which is a fantastic opportunity. I really enjoyed being able to attend these virtual seminars. I learned so much from it, and I'm looking forward to it this year as well. So those that are listening, if you know someone as well is affected by any of these neuropathic pain, please do send this to them, share it with them. And before we leave, what would be your closing word to someone that's newly diagnosed or living with trigeminal neuralgia or any facial pain?
I really would want to communicate the fact that there is hope and that there is help. There are doctors out there who care, and our organization is here to provide resources and to try to connect people with other people who are experiencing that, and then also physicians and educational resources so they understand what's going on. It's really, hope is such an important part of this, and finding the right treatment is so important as well, and it's different for everyone. So it's not easy to find that, as you know, and there is a lot of trial and error. So finding people who are really, really experienced in treating neuropathic pain or trigeminal neuralgia is so important. It's critical to a successful outcome. But those people are out there, and our organization is definitely here as well to offer that help and that hope.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Melissa. I loved speaking with you, and thank you so much for everything you're sharing. And please, everyone that's listening, do follow Facial Pain Association. I'll be putting their links and the notes in the show notes today. And also, please do get the opportunity, do the registry, speak, have your say as well, be part of this. And also, don't be alone. Do go to the support groups and ask for help. I think that's one of the most important parts that we can do. It's ask for help. There are those out there that will help you. So may God bless and keep you until next time. Melissa, thanks again. God bless.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
This was the Michele Roy Show.